What a spectacular sight. Cape Brett Lighthouse, hole in the rock. You can see just around the corner the old house of the lighthouse keeper. Absolutely spectacular. So I've only been going for 150 metres and already it's time to stop to go for a swim at Rawhiti Bay. Hi, welcome to Sam and Kev's Outdoor Adventures. I'm Kev. Today I've made my way up into Northland and I'm just started the track going out towards the lighthouse, or the old lighthouse keeper's house at Cape Brett. So I'll head on off on my way and I'll explain to you some of the details around how you manage to access this track as I get going. So, in terms of details, I guess there's a couple of things to be aware of. Number one, this is a hut that has to be booked online through Doc. Number two, it goes through a large chunk of private land which requires a permit. And number three, parking is quite limited. So starting with that, I parked in Rawhiti at 253 Rawhiti Road. There's some parking there that's available at $10 a night. And there is also a small lay-by about 100 metres before the track starts. That would probably fit about 4 cars. And if you don't really want to do too much extra walking and don't want that extra kilometre that I had from where I parked my car, there is a car park right next to the car start, which costs $20 a night. So it's a relatively expensive undertaking. The track permit is $40 and booking into the hut at the lighthouse is $25. So let's see whether or not it's all worth it. So my $40 track fees have been put to good use. We've got markers every kilometre, up to 2 kilometres so far, and it's been all uphill, and I've probably got about 500 metres horizontal till I get to point 345, which is the high point for today's tramp. I'm not sure, I think there'll be a bit of up and down after that though. So I've made it to point 345, or Pukehuia as it's also known. It's got some spectacular views out over the Bay of Islands. Also has a tank which has got some roof collected water on it and a little bit of a shelter, so you can sit down and have a bite to eat out of the rain or the sun, depending on how the weather is. Kilometre 3. So in addition to the kilometre markers, my $40 is also buying quite a lot of predator control. Right along the track there's a whole lot of traps indicated by, I guess, some pink triangles. So fantastic work doing there. And I'm seeing quite a lot of, I guess, sort of stab mark type hole marks in the ground, and I've convinced myself that these are from Kiwis. There's a few signs on the drive-in indicating that there were Kiwis in the area. And if they are, that's fantastic. And if they're not, this comment looks a bit stupid and I'll probably edit it out. But we'll see how it goes later on tonight. Who knows what we might find. On further investigation, it looks like these holes are due to Hyperstichium, or also known as the common tramper's pole. In theory, there are a couple of ways you can get into the Cape Brett lighthouse keeper's hut, other than coming down from Rawhiti, which is where I've come from. There is this track here, which is from Whangamumu, but unfortunately, due to kauri dieback, that track's closed off and there's no access to it. So this track, along with a lot of the other tracks up here in the North Island, is going to make sure you spray your boots as you walk in and give them a good scrub. So kilometre 4, the kilometre pace is starting to get a bit quicker now. We haven't had quite so much uphill. Great views between kilometre 3 and 4 out to the southeast to Motukumara Rock. It looks absolutely spectacular bit of country, really rugged country line, coastline, with some quite nice wee sheltered beaches down there as well. So now off to kilometre 5. Well, it's difficult to dispute. It's certainly one of those loos with a view. So kilometre 5. Since kilometre 4 we've come across a magnificent long drop toilet. Next to that is the other branch of the Whangamumu track that leads down to an old whaling station, which it is also closed to try and prevent carry dieback. And then we've come across a predator-proof fence, which I think indicates, for the time being anyway, we've moved back into dockland and off private land. So kilometre 6, and it's almost come right at the point where there is a magnificent valley of nikau palms. I've got a bit of a soft spot for nikau palms ever since the first time I saw them, which was on a tramp in the Rawhiti, probably a good 30 years ago now. But these specimens look magnificent. They've been right across the track, but these are really, really tall, lovely, lovely samples. So off we go. So we've skipped kilometre 7, gone straight to kilometre 8. We're halfway there. Taken 2 hours 50 from the start so far, so making pretty good time. So at the 9k mark, and there's a locked private hut here, but it's a great opportunity to grab a bite to eat for lunch. There's a picnic table here and a spectacular view. So I'd mentioned near the start of the video that there were multiple ways that you could get to the Cape Brett Lighthouse. So there's the Rawhiti track, or coming in at Rawhiti, which is where I came in from. There's the Whangamumu tracks that are closed to try and prevent the spread of carry dieback. But there is another way, which is up from Deepwater Cove. That means you come straight into dockland, so you're not required a walking permit. But obviously you do need a boat or a water taxi to get there, and that brings you up. So that's located probably, we're almost at the 12k mark. So 2/3 of the way there. So we're just past the 13k mark. We can see where Cape Brett is up in the distance, and if you're looking really, really closely, you can probably see the pole that indicates the top of the last climb, and it looks like a wee bit of a climb at that too. Just about there, just need to get over this hill and I think we'll be able to see the lighthouse. So that last climb was quite punchy. Even though you haven't got that great an elevation on this walk, there's a lot up and down, so it feels like you've climbed a hell of a lot higher than you actually have. But dead on 6 hours, and I've got my first glimpse of the Cape Brett Lighthouse, which I'll show you now. It's just over my shoulder, so if we swing round, have a look, there it goes down there, and we've got the hole in the rock in the background. So there we are, the Cape Brett Lighthouse. She's a bit of a windswept peninsula, but it's still fantastically beautiful. And from here at the lighthouse you can look down this direction here and just see the red roof of the old lightkeeper's house, which has now become the dock hut, which is where I'm staying tonight. So here we are, coming up on the Cape Brett Lightkeeper's house. There is also the ability to get a water taxi directly here, or if you decide the walk's a little bit hard, grab a taxi for on the way home. There is limited cell phone coverage here, but you can probably text through to the Barber Islands water taxi if required. So here we are at the Cape Brett hut. Access is via a keypad. Doc will send you the number to that a couple of days before you arrive, following your order. You come into a large kitchen area, so we've got cookers here with gas, so you don't need to bring your own cooker, and a table on one side, and a few pots and pans, and running water. There's a little bit of comments on the Doc website around concerns around the water quality, but it seems okay. You then come down a corridor, and we've got 3 bunk rooms in total. We've got this large bunk room here, and directly opposite is another quite large bunk room. But as we come out of that and come down the corridor, there was one wee small tiny bunk room at the end with 2 bunks in it in there around the corner. And then you can come out the back door, and there's a couple of toilets up there on a stand. So there are a set of stairs with a kind of an old railway line tram track type thing that you can walk down to the ocean. This is where you come if you're catching the water taxi back. Also if you're feeling particularly enthusiastic and want to go for a swim, and you often find a couple of seals that will be frolicking around in the inlet as well. So that brings an end to my tramp to Cape Brett to see the lighthouse and the old lighthouse keeper's house. What a fantastic tramp. Absolutely spectacular vistas here at the end, and really would recommend this to everybody. But for me, I've now got a 6-hour tramp back to Rawhiti. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and with a bit of luck, Sam and I will see you next time we're out tramping, and I'm on my way.